So it's not enough that it has to be 25 degrees this morning. It has to feel like 17.
Video disclaimer. All usage of the words cold, cool, and freezing are at the discretion of Ed Ricker and do not represent the views or opinions of states and countries that really are freezing.
My camera even looks blue when I take it outside. So yeah, it's freezing outside. The only issue is it's also beautiful, and I want to fly the drone. When flying a drone in cold temperatures, the batteries are usually the thing that we're most concerned about. Lithium polymer batteries don't work that well in cold weather, so we're topping off our charge right now. So if we try and fly with a cold battery, this is the warning we'll get. It says battery temperature below 15 degrees Celsius, warm up battery to above 25 degrees before flying. A couple ways we can do that. First of all, we can keep the battery warm. We never let it dip below 15 degrees Celsius. Or we just do some hovering before we actually start flying or full throttling the drone, and that will slowly raise the battery temperature as well. If we want to see what our battery temperature really is, go into our settings here, and we'll click on the battery icon, and we'll see right here, battery temperature is actually 17 degrees Celsius, so it's gone up a little bit since our warning. And that is simply because the drone has just been on for a couple minutes. We've let it idle. The motors are running, but we're not actually flying yet. And then once we actually do take off and perform a hover for about 30 to 60 seconds, you will see this temperature go up a few more degrees Celsius. If we look at the Phantom 4 Pro operating temperature, we see that it is between 32 and 104 degrees Fahrenheit, or 0 to 40 Celsius. Since today is colder than that, we're going to make sure that our batteries continue to stay warm inside of our case. I'm also taking some old t-shirts to wrap up my batteries with, and that way I can then stuff my extra batteries inside the compartment of my case here. They're gonna stay very nice and warm because I'm gonna have to access my case multiple times, and I really don't want those batteries to get exposed to the elements. Now for gloves, I'm using some batting gloves from Nike. Now these are not really insulated gloves. They're better than nothing though, and they're gonna break the wind that's hitting my hand. So that's what I'm using them for. They're very, very tactile. They have lots of grip, and you can do pretty much anything you can do without gloves with these gloves. So I really like these. Also, a company called Spider makes a slightly bulkier option that actually is supposed to work with touchscreens. I found a link to those at backcountry.com. And of course, you can always get hand warmers that you can stuff inside of your gloves. Oh, and coffee goes a long way too. Now, a cool thing about cool air is that it's actually more dense than hot air. The molecules of the air are moving slower, so on a cool day like today, relatively still, the aircraft is actually going to perform aerodynamically very well. So I'm getting everything out of the bag that I need immediately, relatively quickly, so that I can then close her up. When you're about ready to fly, make sure that you go into your battery settings and select Show Battery Voltage on the main screen. That way you can see in the upper right corner what the voltage output is for that battery at any given moment. When you full throttle the drone, you might see a dip in the voltage, and when you have a cold battery, you might see that voltage drop below 3 or maybe 3.5 volts, and then you run the risk of the drone falling out of the sky due to the battery not providing enough power. So it's also very important to hover your drone for about 30 to 60 seconds when it's cold out, just to make sure that everything kind of has a chance to warm up, just like your car. You wouldn't necessarily full throttle your car as soon as you start it in cold weather. Now, it's freezing, so I'm gonna go back inside, but a couple things to keep in mind are not flying in foggy cold weather, or perhaps in precipitation and stuff like that, because you might get icing on your props. So keep the weather in mind, don't do anything stupid, but yeah, you could definitely fly in sub-freezing temperatures as long as you insulate your batteries, insulate yourself. All right guys, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, stay warm and looking forward to summer.